Hi everyone. Here's what I want to talk about today. Most people try to attract what they want by doing more. They make vision boards, they say affirmations on loop, they try to stay high vibe all day long. They spend ages trying to visualize correctly, making sure every little detail of the scene is just right. They micromanage their thoughts, trying to make sure they're not blocking themselves. And in the end, they're exhausted. It starts to feel like manifesting is a full-time job. Like it takes enormous effort just to get the smallest result. And yet nothing really changes, or if it does, it takes forever. And the whole process feels like a battle. It feels like this massive pressure of having to be on high alert all the time, but not having any results to show for it. If you've been there, I get it. I've been there too. But here's what I want you to understand. And I want you to really take this in. Manifesting what you want isn't meant to be hard. Fulfilling your desires is supposed to feel natural, effortless, obvious. And the reason it doesn't is because you're trying to create from the wrong level of yourself. For those of you who have watched my previous videos, you may have heard this before. But I'll repeat it again because it's fundamental in understanding how to manifest what you want smoothly and easily. There are two levels of you. There's the human you, the one who's living this life, experiencing this world, the one who is subject to time, to physicality, the one who reacts to its environment, who feels fear, doubt, frustration, the one who's trying to solve problems and get things right. Basically, the character in the story. And then there is the other level of you, the higher level, the one who's not in the game, but who's creating the game. The you that exists outside of time, outside of space, outside of the rules and limitations of this physical world. The part of you that sees the whole picture, the one that is deciding what's coming, the one that chose your desires, not because you're lacking something, but because they're part of the journey that you wanted to go on. The higher you isn't hoping or wishing or trying, it's simply selecting. It's choosing the next experience, the next timeline, the next expression of what you already are. And when you're operating from that level, everything changes. So here's the ultimate secret to fulfilling your desires effortlessly. You stop trying to get and you start choosing. You stop trying to earn the thing. You stop trying to deserve it. You stop trying to believe hard enough that it might show up if you manage to somehow be completely firm and unwavering. You stop trying to make anything happen. You stop trying to make the things out there change. And instead, you go straight to the source. You bypass the mental noise, the emotional tug of war, the conflict with the physical facts. You detach from the story you're currently living, and you step into the part of you that is already one with everything. And from that level, you don't have to make the desire come. You simply assume that it's yours. And when you do that, when you know it's yours, you immediately move your human self onto a timeline where the outcome is already laid out. The trick is to drop the assumption that getting what you want is dependent on you doing something or on getting something right. And to instead start assuming that you are already on a path that is leading you to what you want, and that there's nothing more you need to do other than keep walking forwards along this path. When you do that, now suddenly that becomes your reality, and that is what manifests as fact. It's like an internal shift. You're just completely dropping any dependencies and going, this is happening. End of story. No complications, no I need to do this technique and that technique. You just choose it and that's it. By assuming you're already on the path that is leading to your desired outcome, You cause the outcome and the path leading to it to be created immediately, just like that. There is absolutely no need to do anything other than that to cause it to happen. This is really important to understand. You're not bending reality. You're not forcing something to happen. You're simply selecting the version of reality where that outcome is already true and aligning yourself with it. And now all you have to do is walk forwards. Not hoping, not trying to hold the feeling, just walking, trusting, observing. The path is already there. The outcome's already set. It's inevitable because you've already chosen it. Now here's where people get tripped up. They assume it's done, and they think it means pretending, faking belief, saying the right words until maybe something changes. But that's not what I'm saying. This isn't about pretending. It's not about faking belief. It's not about repeating affirmations until your subconscious gets on board. It's about operating from the level where belief isn't even necessary, because truth just is. The deeper part of you already knows you're fully supported. It already knows your desires are valid. And it already knows the exact, perfect, effortless way for them to unfold. The only thing that ever gets in the way is the noise, the trying, the effort, the struggle. It's the human part of us that feels like we have to push for it. That if we don't do something, if we don't stay on top of it, we'll miss the window or mess it up. But when you're truly operating from that higher level of you, there's nothing to push. There's nothing to force. You're simply allowing what is already true to express itself through you. You are always free to choose. There is nothing and nobody out there imposing anything on you. All of it, every single little bit of it, is all forming and shaping itself based on your assumption. I'm not kidding. This isn't just some theory. This is how the world works. And so you need to live from a place of power. Live from a place of being in charge. Live from a place of knowing that you are the one choosing. Live from a place of commitment, determination, single-mindedness. Live from a place of deciding that you get to be, do, and have anything that you want in your life. Whatever reality it is you wish that you could have, stop trying to figure out what needs to change in your current world in order to get you there, and just go there. Just decide. Set your outcome. Choose it. Place that marker down. And when you do that, the moment you choose, that outcome gets created. And not only does it get created, but all the steps backwards from where you place that marker leading all the way back to where you are standing right now get created too. It all happens instantly. And if you dare to do this, the path to everything that you want will place itself right in front of you immediately. This isn't a joke or an exaggeration. If you do it, the world around you may look the same, but you will have entered into a different reality. And the further you walk along that path, the more obvious it will become that you're no longer that person that you used to be, and that the things that are showing up now have nothing at all to do with what was showing up before. And all this comes from making a different choice. That's all there is to it. Choose right now and everything changes. Or else assume that it can't possibly be that simple and keep everything the same. It's your choice, literally. Make that choice and life will never be the same again. So if you're really ready to give life to what you want effortlessly, here's what you need to do. You stop trying to change the world out there. You stop reacting. You stop wrestling with it. You stop making your peace dependent on what's happening in your external reality, and instead you become still enough to notice what's going on in here. Notice the assumptions you're living from. Not the ones you wish were true, not the ones you affirm in the hope that they will become true, but the ones that feel real. the ones that are running automatically in the background. What are you actually assuming about life, about yourself, about what's possible? Because those assumptions are the settings. And reality, the one you're walking around in, is being generated based on those internal settings. Not to reward or punish you, not to test you, but simply because that's how the game works. Change the assumption and you change the output. Change the setting and the projection out there has to get updated. It can't be any other way because everything out there is a reflection coming from you. And the irony is, once you really get this, something beautiful happens. You stop needing things to change so badly. You stop chasing the thing. You stop trying to rush to the finish line. You stop thinking your piece is somewhere out there in the future waiting for you to earn it. Instead, you start enjoying the journey. You start trusting the process. You start noticing all the ways reality is rearranging itself for you, not against you. And that's when the magic happens. That's when things begin to flow. That's when what you want drops into your life ever so easily. That's when everything you desire starts to form itself around you, not through effort, but through alignment. Now you might be asking, but what happens if I'm not there yet? What do I do if it still feels like the old story is too loud? When I know all this mentally, but the fear or doubt or old assumption still feels real? The answer is, you don't try to push it away, you don't resist it, you don't fight it, or argue with it, or try to force it into silence. You simply notice it. You go, oh, that's the story I've been living from. That's the version of reality I've been buying into. And you allow it to be there. You stop fighting with it or trying to change it. You just notice what is alive in you. And the moment you acknowledge it, not as the only possibility, but as the reality that you're currently choosing, you create space. And that space is everything. It's the space in which a different choice becomes possible. And it doesn't need to take a long time. It doesn't need to be a process. It can happen in a split second. Sometimes it's just a tiny moment where something inside you goes, wait, that's not the only truth. There's another version of me that doesn't see it that way. And suddenly it clicks. You shift. You're not fighting the old anymore. You've just stepped into a higher vantage point. And then from that place of detachment, it's so much easier to view this as one of many possible realities that are available to you. It's like you're looking down at a TV screen and you can see that there's this one movie that you've chosen and that's playing out. And it's not a very pleasant one. In fact, it's a bit of a nightmare, but you can view it without getting sucked into what a horrible nightmare it is. It's just one movie playing on the screen. And from that detached level, you can see that there are many other possible realities that are just as equally available. The horror movie that is playing out right now is just one of those options. But you can just as easily choose a different movie from this detached level. Because at that level, you're not identifying and associating with that human part of you that is experiencing those things. You can see that the character that you're playing as is experiencing those things, but you're detached from what yourself at that level is feeling and thinking. And from there, you can choose a new assumption without needing to argue with the old one. So you don't need to convince yourself. You don't need to make yourself believe something you don't believe. You simply drop into the part of you that already knows the truth, that already knows this desire is done, that it's safe, that it's inevitable. Because here's the thing. When you do this, you're no longer trying to become the version of you who has the outcome that you desire. You're simply being that version. Now, effortlessly, powerfully, smoothly, easily. You're not waiting, you're not hoping, you're just being. And reality has no choice but to reflect that back to you. So remember, you're not here to force desires into reality. You're not here to prove you're good enough. You're not here to work on yourself in order to become worthy of receiving. You're not here to constantly be healing and clearing your blocks and removing your limiting beliefs so that maybe someday you'll be allowed to get what you want. You are here to experience the fulfillment of the desires that were given to you by the bigger part of you, because they're meant to be fulfilled. That's what you came here for, to experience exactly that. You need to remember that nothing is being withheld. The only thing ever standing between you and what you want is the belief that there's something standing between you and what you want. Once you drop that, everything shifts. So instead of striving, hoping, and chasing, step into the version of you who already is in that reality. Let that energy guide you. Let it inform how you move, how you speak, how you feel. And then watch how life begins to mirror that state back to you in the most unexpected, magical, and effortless ways. Because the source wants you to have what you want. How could it not? The source is you and you are it. It has created you in this human form and placed you in exactly this specific situation in order to experience exactly the fulfillment of your own specific desires. And all these seemingly unwanted things that you might be seeing around you right now, they're just part of the storyline. They're part of the lead up into how things unfolded into the most perfect outcome. And the moment you align with this and see things in this way, you'll immediately move onto a timeline where this is true. And that is exactly what will play out going forwards. So stop trying. Start choosing. Everything you want is already yours. All that's left is for you to step into the part of you that knows that. And from there, the path becomes clear. The journey becomes light. And the destination becomes inevitable. So move into that knowing and enjoy seeing what shows up as a result. Okay, that is it from me for today. Thank you for watching. As usual, if you have questions, you can put them in the comments or come and find me on Facebook or through my website. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for your support and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.